On any given day, all over the country, thousands of workers are tending to crops. Picking, packing or processing across all different types of farms. And in Australia, the majority of that workforce is made up of migrants. Without them, our agriculture sector would come to a screeching halt. But many of us never get to know much at all about this huge community that keep Australian farms ticking over.
They're not given a lot of space in public discourse or debate. When they are in the news, it's usually not for very positive reasons. So I wanted to create a project that sort of celebrated and captured the good times and the good experiences and quite, big contribution that they bring to regional places.
Second season, yeah. You three are together, yeah.
Kaya Barry is a cultural geographer from Griffith University who has spent a lot of time with seasonal workers.
I actually grew up the first, I don't know how many years of my life was living in a caravan because my parents toured around just like a lot of backpackers do now. And we lived in a caravan, toured through New South Wales, Queensland, Northern Territory while Mum and Dad picked up bits of seasonal work, cleaning, caravan park stuff. Some of my early memories are of being in big sort of groups at caravan parks or at, local beaches or national parks and things and just chatting with lots of foreign people and hearing lots of foreign languages around. So that was really nice.
For the past few years, Kaya's focus has been on giving others an insight into the daily lives of some of those migrant workers during their time in Australia.
The project's called Momentarily Immobile, the futures of backpacking and seasonal farm work in Queensland. Any of you used a camera like this before? Yeah. It's got film in it. We've been handing out cameras across the state and they take a bunch of photos and then post them back to me and we get them developed.
The project is about getting a sense of what life is like for the seasonal workers through their eyes.
These people live and work and spend their spare time in a community, and having a bit more insight into what their everyday life is like is something that perhaps a local might not ever see. They might pass them at the supermarket queue or they might see them in the street, but they don't actually get to see from their perspective, their side of what life is like when they're here in Australia.
Andrew, take a memo down.
One man who knows more than most about what life and work is like for seasonal workers on Australian farms is Trelaw Guntroth.
I supervise all the work that gets done by seasonal workers, so the Tongans or Solomon Islanders, and sometimes we use contractors with your Koreans and Japanese, a lot of people from Asia, sometimes Timor, places like that, sometimes Samoa.
Today, Trelaw is handing out cameras with Kaya and encouraging the workers to share their experiences. On this farm at Gin Gin in Queensland's Wide Bay Burnett region, they grow citrus and blueberries. This year there are 50 seasonal workers here. Some years that number is much higher, but each season is different. And regardless of birthplace, language or culture, they share one common goal.
All they want is to improve their life for their family and their country and everyone they've got at home. That's all they want to do.
Trelaw's job is to manage all their work and support their personal lives.
They'll let me know if they have a family problem at home or if they need to have time off. If there's a personal issue, they just come and tell me and we sort that out and give them the time off they need. Just any problem they have, they come to me and I try and solve it.
Language is a common barrier to understanding and often a big inhibitor when it comes to forging closer relationships across cultures.
Who needs gloves?
But it hasn't fazed Trelaw. He's been learning and practising the different languages spoken by the workers.
A bit of Tongan, not too much, enough to get by, and Pidgin, I know a fair bit of Pidgin because it's just broken English. It's pretty easy to learn. And just learning from them. It starts off with all the swear words and all the fun stuff, and then you progress from there, yeah.
Supporting a group of seasonal workers who hail from different parts of the world is no small feat. Language barriers aside, many of these people leave behind entire families for many months at a time. like Andrew, a father of 3 whose youngest is still a toddler.
2 seasons there. Like back home, we a little bit struggle, like life, it's too hard. So when we have opportunity to come over, we can develop our community, send money back, send money for our kids, like school fees, and we can build houses.
All of the seasonal workers on this farm come through the PALM scheme, a migration visa which allows people from 9 Pacific Islands and Timor-Leste to come and work in Australia for up to 9 months. After that, they return to their home countries for 3 months, and then many come back to Australia and many to the same farm. Lino from Tonga has lived and worked in Australia on 8 separate occasions, each time returning to this same farm in Jinjin, and each trip driven by the same desire, to support his family back home. Is it a good opportunity to come and earn some money to send back home?
Yes.
How does it help your family?
We help for food, we pay for my sister, for the kids, for the school, and the building house.
Lino's been one of the workers who's taken part in Kaya's project, snapping pictures of his day-to-day life.
Sometimes go to the beach for fishing, but sometimes we walk around in Bundy, have a look around.
I think it's good to give everyone, and the government especially, a picture of what these people are like and what they do here and what they do for us here as well.
After their shift, most, if not all, of the workers from this Jinjin farm travel about 45 minutes by road back to Childers, where they live. It's a fairly typical regional Queensland town. Situated alongside the Bruce Highway, it's a popular pit stop for travellers up and down the east coast. And at less than an hour southwest of bountiful Bundaberg, it's surrounded by fruit and vegetable cropping farms, making it somewhat of a hub for seasonal workers and a central focus of Kaya's research.
Anyone got kids? Yep. There's always been people coming in from across the continent, but also from overseas. I mean, backpackers particularly have a very, important part in Childers as a historical place, but also just as always coming through the community and bringing in different cultures and livelihoods.
Nowhere is the cultural diversity in Childers more evident than here at Farmgate Backpackers. This is home for hundreds of international workers seeking seasonal work across the region.
Our busier time is more in winter, where we can have up to 300 people here. So that's around 150 backpackers coming from Europe and the Americas, and then another 150 workers coming in from the Pacific Islands and Timor-Leste.
Farmgate is a working hostel, meaning the management here pairs the surrounding farms that are seeking labour with workers.
Everybody works within about a 15 to 40 minute radius of Childers, where we are at the moment. So they're going out to avocado farms, they're going out to berry farms, they're going out to citrus farms. So they're the main crops that we have over winter.
But do you have contact with any other people elsewhere in Australia?
Kaya has spent time here at Farmgate speaking with the residents and staff, getting to know how the place works and what it's like to live and work with such a diverse mix of people.
So like farm managers, relationship and pastoral care support, local community support organisations as well, to sort of get more of a holistic picture of what the experience is like for the workers, but also for the local communities and businesses who support them and take care of them while they're here.
All right, no worries. Well, on the weekend...
For Farmgate owner Bill Darby, there's both knowledge to share and to be gained.
There's people here that have got skills, incredible skills and great diversity in their own lives that they come from. We've got people here, and there might be a qualified chef. We've got people here who are training as vets, but they're taking a year off to come and do their working holiday experience, and then they're going to go back to be a vet.
Bill says the residents at Farmgate bring a lot to the region, and recognising that is important.
Quite often we hear in a labour hire scenario of exploitation, or we hear the negative stories where people just haven't been looked after, and that's been both with the Pacific Island workers and with travelling backpackers. And so what Kaya's doing is looking more broadly, and rather than having a focus on any negativity, she's looking at positives, and there are so many positives.
Over the course of her research, Kaya has received and collated over 1,000 photos taken on disposable film cameras by seasonal workers all over the state.
I think they tell not quite a story of somebody's life here, but they show quite nice snippets of what the everyday is like. And I think it's really important not to sort of over-glamorise this, because it's tough, hard working conditions, but it's also really rewarding and enjoying.
The photos have been curated and are on show at the Childers Art Gallery. For the launch of the exhibition, called Seasonal, some of the workers stopped by to see their pictures displayed professionally.
So what do you think? How do they look?
It's like amazing.
Yeah, they come up.
Nunez is from Timor-Leste. He's recently been working in Tasmania, but before that was picking berries in the Bundaberg region. Taking photos has sparked something in Nunez, so much so he's saved up his money from working on farm and bought himself a professional camera.
I came here working for 3 years, then after I feel like I think I have enough money to buy my camera. So, because I feel like I have connection with the camera.
Nunez has several photos in the exhibition. He's thrilled to have been included.
This is my first time exhibition, so I'm so proud of it. This is amazing for me in my whole life.
The exhibition will be taken on tour to another regional Queensland gallery in Gayndah next year. And the plan is to then tour other regions as well.
There's a story behind every single person. They're all individuals, and the farm work experience that they have while they're in Australia, it's our job to make sure that it's a positive one.
They are really good workers, they're really good people, and they'll often step in and do work that other people wouldn't do. But they'll do it happily and they'll do it well.